Day 126 in a year of living the Warrior's Way. Today I'm going to go back to the importance of guarding the mind as to what you let into your mind on a daily basis. And the reason for this is because my head's been a little bit down. Everything's been a bit shit for about 4 or 5 days now. And I was pondering and wondering today, now that I'm in a better place mentally, what was the situation? Did things contribute to it? And it came across my mind that with all this crap that was going on in the UK with elections and Russia and the budget and all of this stuff, I got lulled in and I watched the news. Now, I haven't watched the news for probably 6 months because I think it's a whole pile of shit and propaganda, and it's doom and it's gloom, and I know for a fact that it drags me down. And on top of that, I realised that I was watching a number of not necessarily positive things on things like Netflix and on the TV. For example, I watched an episode of the new Jeffrey Dahmer thing, and I turned it off halfway through, and I watched some other quite violent sort of things and quite dark things, and I didn't particularly resonate with those, and I turned them off. But the thing that I realised was that I was opening my psyche to all this negativity, all this violence, all this down, and all this real piles of shit. And it was part of the contributing factor into bringing myself down, into bringing me down. Also, you chuck into the fact that I'd, had some discussions with my mother about money and my dad and all this stuff, about my past and my upbringing and how affected I was and everything. And it really was, affecting my psyche, affecting my mindset, making the inner child within me feel unworthy and unloved. And then nasty memories kept popping back up. And I don't have many because they're all kept very nicely locked away the back of my head so that they won't fuck me up, they won't upset me, and I don't have any vivid, or not many vivid recollections. Plenty of ones of extreme things, quite a lot of painful ones, but not many happy ones. And that brought me onto the Pixar movie that I shared previously as well. I'm struggling to recall the name of it now, where they throw all these different coloured balls down this chute, and each coloured ball pertains to happiness and sadness and guilt and anger, and this little girl is running around, and it's Inside Out, I think it's called. Anyway, it's quite an important movie that was for me, even though it's a child's movie. So the thing that made me realise is that I've got to be absolutely vigilant into what I let in to my brain, and I've got to be absolutely vigilant with the thoughts and beliefs and the words that I say to myself, because some of these things I say to myself, holy shit, I wouldn't say them to my worst enemy. And if I'm going to cultivate any sort of situation where I'm going to love myself and love who I am and what I do, got to start with how I talk to myself. I've got to continue with it. I've got to keep pushing through it. I've got to stop being so bloody impatient and just do the work and just trust the process. And this is one of the tenets in Warrior. Do the work. People underestimate what they can do in 5 years, but they overestimate what they can do in a year. And I'm only a third of the way through the year, and I'm still being impatient, and I'm still wanting everything to change. And of course it's not, because I've got to consistently do the work. So I've got to get back on the wagon and start pushing through, and continue to believe in myself, and continue to trust the process, and continue to move forward in the right way. And that is the next stage of this journey. Cheers.